It's 12 o'clock. A very good afternoon and many thanks for joining us at this time. You're watching News Analysis live on Politics and Business TV. The top stories. Vice President Kashim Shettima says the Tinubu-led administration is ready to create an enabling environment for both indigenous and foreign businesses to grow. Federal government announces execution date for gas supply and purchase agreement for brass methanol project. Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria says Port Harcourt Refinery Company may start releasing refined petroleum products this month. Details coming up shortly. Welcome back. I am Omoife Peace of Semere. Vice President Kashim Shettima has expressed optimism that Nigeria will become a major economic force in the world under President Bola Tinubu. Shettima stated this at the Presidential Villa Abuja when he hosted a delegation from the Commonwealth Enterprise Investment Council led by its Chief Executive Officer, Rosie Glazerbrook. According to him, Tinubu's administration is committed to creating an unprecedented enabling environment for both local and foreign investors to thrive. Shettima said the Tinubu-led federal government is determined to transform the country's demographic bulge into demographic dividends. He assured that Tinubu's administration would harness the resources of its young population to build a more prosperous and progressive country. The Vice President declared that Nigeria is ready for business after being blessed with a pro-business leader who rose from the business ecosystem and has shown commitment to supporting the growth of businesses. Well, as part of efforts to address the recurrent collapse of Nigeria's power grid, the federal government has deployed a new technology to detect and respond to sudden drops or dips in power generation across the country. The federal government made the announcement through the Transmission Company of Nigeria, stating that the new generation dip or loss detection system would advance TCN's grid management capabilities. According to media reports, Nigeria witnessed its sixth power grid collapse of 2024 as electricity generation on the system collapsed from 2,583.77 megawatts as at 2 a.m. on Monday to 64.7 megawatts around 3 a.m. before the grid was restored later in the day. The Transmission Company of Nigeria had reportedly attributed the cause of Monday's grid collapse to a fire incident and has also consistently blamed gas shortage for power generation and the vandalism of power infrastructure for the recurrent cases of grid collapse in the country. But the TCN, in a statement issued by its spokesperson in Abuja yesterday, said a new technology had been deployed by the federal government's company to effectively manage the transmission network and the national grid. Federal government says the gas supply and purchase agreement to support the final investment decision for the $3.8 billion brass methanol project is expected to be executed in May this year. Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Gas, Ekberikbe Ekbo, who announced the execution date for the gas supply agreement after a meeting with key stakeholders of the project in his office, had in a statement issued by his media aide, Louis Iba, said the meeting was to confirm adequate gas supply to the brass methanol project by the NNPC, Shell, Total Energies, NAOC joint venture. According to media reports, the brass methanol project, which is located in Brass Island, Bayelsa State, is a major industrial project being built to produce methanol, a key industrial chemical using natural gas resources. The facility is expected to have a capacity of 10,000 tons of methanol per day when completed as it is still under construction and expected to be operational this year. The project is a joint venture between DSV Engineering Limited, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL), and the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. In other news, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has given reasons for the significant decline in the nation's foreign reserves. A governor of the Apex Bank, Olaimi Cardoso, who gave the explanation during the ongoing International Monetary Fund and World Bank spring meetings holding in Washington, D.C., United States, asserted that the decline was not primarily aimed at defending the naira, as commonly believed, but rather to partially repay debts owed to creditors. According to media reports, data on the movement of foreign reserves obtained from the CBN website showed that as of April 15, 2024, the FX reserves had fallen to $32.29 billion, a major decline from $34.45 billion recorded on March 18, 2024. The reserves also witnessed a 43-day surge, accruing by $1.28 billion between February the 5th and March 18, 2024. However, Cardoso said the bank will minimize its involvement in the market, aiming to foster a scenario where prices are determined through the interactions of willing buyers and sellers, rather than relying heavily on intervention from the bank. You're watching news analysis live on Politics and Business TV. Still to come, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has announced a reduction in the price of automotive gas oil, popularly called diesel, from 1,200 naira per litre to 1,000 naira per litre. Now, this is a development which has triggered excitement among operators in the downstream oil sector. But while President Bola Tinubu has applauded Dangote Oil and Gas Limited for reducing the price of diesel to 1,000 naira per litre, just how strategic is the reduction in the price of diesel? But most importantly, can the cut in diesel pump price reduce inflation? All of this and more after the break. Welcome back from that break. This is news analysis live on Politics and Business TV. In a bid to reduce congestion and encourage a timely movement of export cargo into Lagos Port, the Nigerian Ports Authority has opened a 72-hour window for all export trucks to access various terminals. The NPA also vowed to automatically deactivate access tickets of export cargo trucks that failed to access the port within the time, adding that the window will take effect from April 22nd. In a notice to stakeholders titled Important Update, Revised Access Window for Left Pre-gated Export Trucks, signed by the Management of Truck Transit Parks Limited on behalf of the NPA, the agency explained that the new policy aims at improving traffic flow and reducing congestion around the port access roads. It also encouraged truckers to get to the port within the designated time frame. Now, dealers under the aegis of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria (IPMAN) have expressed optimism that a Port Harcourt refinery company in Rivers State may start releasing refined petroleum products this month. The Port Harcourt branch chairman of IPMAN, Tekana Ikbaki, who disclosed this, noted that the management of the refinery had also assured dealers that the plant would begin operations soon. The oil marketers, who reportedly paid a visit to the plant, said its rehabilitation had largely been completed and should be ready this month, as earlier hinted by the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari. It will be recorded that Kyari had stated that the Port Harcourt refinery would commence operations in about 2 weeks. But officials of NNPC Limited stated in Abuja that key safety and regulatory compliance tests were currently ongoing at the plant. In the meantime, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has announced a reduction in the price of automotive gas oil, popularly called diesel, from 1,200 to 1,000 naira per litre, a development which has triggered excitement among operators in the downstream oil sector. Dangote Refinery had, in a statement issued on Tuesday by its spokesperson, Tony Chijena, said the significant reduction in the price of diesel at Dangote Petroleum Refinery is expected to reduce the cost or the high inflation in the country. According to the statement, the reduction in price of diesel comes with a discount of 30 naira per litre for an offtake of 5 million litres and above. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has applauded Dangote Oil and Gas Limited for reducing the price of diesel to 1,000 naira per litre. In a statement signed by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajurin Gelali, Tinubu describes the move as an enterprising feat, adding that the price review represents a 60% drop, which will in no small measure impact the prices of sundry goods and services. While affirming that Nigerians and domestic businesses are the nation's surest transport and security to economic prosperity, Tinubu noted the federal government's 20% stake in Dangote Refinery, stressing that it was essential to advancing the country's overall well-being. According to media reports, this development comes precisely a week after Dangote met President Bola Tinubu in Lagos, where he said Nigerians should expect a drop in inflation given the cut in diesel pump prices. Well, to discuss this, I'm expecting an economist, Yusha Liu. I mean, this leaves us with so much to talk about. There's a lot to take in amidst excitement, from different quarters. But what is of utmost concern at this point in time is whether or not the cut in diesel pump prices will be able to have any bite on the inflation rate in the country. We'll take a breather. We'll be back in a moment with the discussion. Do join us again. Right, this is Politics and Business TV, and you're watching News Analysis Live. Well, we'd like you to know that the conversation with economist Yusha Liu as to whether or not the cut in diesel pump prices would have any bite on the inflation rate in the country will be brought to you in a moment. This is due to reasons beyond our control. But we'd like you to know also that there are a couple of programs, just for your listening and viewing pleasure. I am Omoife Piso Semere. I'll be back at the top of the hour with the news update. Good afternoon.